what would you say to those who struggle to accept, like they really want someone, but that person just doesn't want them, which happens, right? That's part of life. But they're so hooked on like, this person is for me and I have to show them that I can be what they want. How can we get past the point of just accepting that somebody doesn't want us? Do you know what I mean? And we can let that go to provide that space for someone else.
I would say like one, what is it about them? Are they making you feel something about yourself? Have they? Or
how do they make you feel?
Yeah. And I think really what I would like everyone to do is to be enough for themselves before they try and be enough for someone else. And that's sometimes difficult, like really hard. Like I didn't do that with my husband, but we've done that together. But when you choose to be with someone because you want them rather than because you feel like you need them, that prevents that really awful power imbalance and that like, change. I remember with my ex, like I changed myself so much for him that when I wasn't with him anymore, I was like, I don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like, it's about like that person they're not going to want you. And even if you get them to want you, that's because you're changing to be what they want. And eventually you can't keep that up. That's
unless that is you. Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think there's this common narrative, and maybe I'm biased because I'm speaking from like a man's perspective. I think a lot of the time men see what women express that they want in a man. He has to be this tall, this good looking, make this much money. He has to do this for me, this for me, this for me. So I think a lot of the time guys are like, okay, well, if I want to get this kind of girl, I have to become that kind of man. And a lot of guys endeavor and make growth and strides to become that kind of man. And I guess what I'm asking is that the right thing to do? Because I think men have always done that, but that's because historically women have been the choosers. You choose who is going to become fathers. You choose who comes into the next generation. Like women have always been the selectors of men, like almost the parental investment in men, right? It's the sperm that chases the egg. See what I'm saying? So I guess, is that something that, I guess, what's the balance between not changing who you are for someone, but then growing yourself in a way that makes you a better version of yourself to attract the kind of person you want?
Yeah, I think it's about just sitting with what you want and who you want to be and why you're doing those things. Like,
right.
I don't think anyone should make changes to be more attractive to someone else unless that's what they want for themselves too. Like, I could go and get a tummy tuck and a boob job and be more sexually appealing to more people if I wanted to. But why am I doing that? And is that the kind of person that I want to attract? Like,
Very
is
true.
it actually going to better my life? Like, and if a man is like, and also I think if someone changes, I think we see this a lot in our society, is men have that core belief that, women only want this, so I'm going to do. And then because they do that, they feel almost entitled and a bit bitter about the fact that they've done those things.
Yes.
And then that makes them kind of resentful. And it's like, well, I have to pay for the date, so do. And it's like, well, maybe we should just go halves on the date. Like,
most women don't do that though.
Yeah, but then that most woman isn't for you.
I get that. I think what it is, it's I agree. And you're absolutely right. There are guys who become something and they think, well, I've become this, this, and this to even attract you. And there can be a level of entitlement. Completely understand that. I think what it is, let's say like paying for the date, it's like guys will choose to do that, not because necessarily he wants to, but because it's going to build a certain impression that he wants to make. So like he wants the effect of what paying does, not necessarily because he wants to pay, because the truth is, if everybody could have someone pay for their life, they would. Right? So it's about, okay, I'm choosing something to do for you because I want to have the effect that it does. Is that wrong?
It's not wrong, but you should be doing it because you want to do it and not then use it as a transactional thing. Well, I did this, so you should do this.
What's the difference between using it as like a transactional thing and then asking for reciprocation?
Entitlement. So if you ask, you don't always receive.
Very true.
If you demand, then that's completely different. Like if you're like, look, I've paid for all the dates and I feel like we've had a really nice time, but I'm wondering where the effort is from you because I'm not seeing that.
That's a very good way to put it.
That's an opportunity for her to say da la 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 la, like this is how, or maybe think, oh well, I'll plan the next one. But if you're like I've paid for all the dates and you haven't had sex with me, then that's like not okay. Like do you know what I mean? Like I think there's a difference between an ask and a demand. And also like if you've offered to pay for all those dates, then that doesn't mean you get anything in return.
True.
Like if I buy someone a gift, like and you can take the information that you get and change your own behavior, but you can't demand the behavior from someone else. So say I bought someone a really thoughtful gift for Christmas and I had like researched what they love and I spent a lot of time and effort on this gift and I gave it to them, and then on my birthday I got something like a box of chocolates.
Yes.
Well, I could either be bitter and angry about that and say, well, why didn't you do this? Or I could just not put so much effort in next time. Like,
yes,
you can alter your own behavior and find someone who respects and like appreciates what you do for them and gives in return.
Yes.
Or you can get angry and bitter.
Yeah, 100%. It's almost that you get resentful at the comparison of the effort you've put into what they're putting in. But then if you match their effort, maybe you wouldn't be as resentful of it.
Yeah, and also like it's okay to be resentful at an individual, but not at the species, not at women in general.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I think sometimes men will apply that experience to all women.
Yeah, I think... What, as in like, oh, I paid for everything, so you have to give me sex?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
I've had those comments on Instagram, like, and like, well, men like pay for everything. I'm like, actually, I pay for everything in my relationship. Like,
yeah, but you are an exception to the rule, though. That is not the majority of couples.
No, but like, let's just work on an individual basis and not.
I agree. No one should be entitled to anything. I think where that comes from with men is because, especially nowadays, it is very difficult to be desirable as a man today.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you say that? What evidence have you drawn that from?
Several things. So if we look at, for example, just dating app statistics in terms of how many men get matches to how many women get matches, right? About 15% of men get 80% of the matches. And the majority, and 80% of men are matching with only like 15% of women. And you get a very small percentage of men matching with the majority of the women. When you ask women, for example, out of 50 random guys who would randomly approach you in a bar, maybe approach you on the street or even slide into your DM, how many of them do you look at and go, oh, I like the look and vibe of you enough that I'd go on a date with you? Most women say less than 5. But
this is because of how they are approaching it. Like, honestly, I have been on Tinder.
You don't think women have higher standards than men?
Yeah, I think women have higher standards, but I think it's because of the expectation of women in a relationship.
As in the expectation women have. So, like,
for example, right, as a woman, you generally, most women have their own career, their own money now. not only that, but they usually manage a lot of the household, the money, the children. They can do that. What is the man like actually bringing to
his personality? He's a great guy.
Exactly. So if I can look after myself better than most men can look after me, of course he's either going to have to have great chat, great personality, great looks, good money, or great dick, because why on earth else would I share my life with you?
Okay,
Like,
I understand that, but the argument you just made is the exact argument men make. They're like, if I'm providing everything for your life so much to the point that you don't even have to work, yeah, you better fulfill these other things that I want.
I don't know one woman that doesn't have to work. I don't know one.
No, what I mean is, even if a woman is working, if she's with a man, it happens more often than not. He is bearing the majority of the financial burden.
Yeah, but she's bearing everything else.
What's everything else?
Oh my goodness. Like
instead of, let's say they haven't had kids, right?
So that changes things, because obviously I had kids young.
Of course.
But like, I think a lot of men are just grown up babies.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, I'm gonna get so much hate for this.
Listen, I get hate. So go for it.
My partner, for example, I love him. I love the bones of him. But say I'm like, oh, could you just we're moving house, yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, could you please just organize the kids moving schools? Right, so if I was to organise the kids moving schools, I would Google the schools near the thing, search how to do the application, put in the information, blah, blah, blah. My husband will sit next to me and go, which school? Like, what's their date of birth? Like, can you send me my phone number? Can you send me my email? And I'm like, I may as well do it myself now. Like, and...
Yeah, but I think the irony is, though, like, you're saying men, that's just, no offense, but that's your partner.
But this is like the experience of most women.
Well, that man doesn't know how to make a plan.
Yeah,
and do logistics.
Yeah, like not that he doesn't know, but that she just kind of automatically does it. Or like, for example, like taking the bins out, he'll be, instead of just noticing that the bin is full and taking the bin out and putting a fresh bin in, she'll say, can you take the bins out? Can you take the bins out? Can you take the bins out? Oh, stop nagging at me.
So here's the thing, right? I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But we were talking about the men who have reached a level of desirability and attractiveness. So let's say a man who, okay, like, this is my place, right? And I have a partner, okay? I'll do my own bins. I'll do my own laundry.
This is what I mean.
So I'm not saying I'm necessarily this guy, but if you have a guy who's there, because we're talking about the guys who get to a point that they become desirable to many women.
That's why they're there.
Already doing that.
That's why they're desirable.
Okay, but here's the thing. You literally just said, if you're doing A, B, C, and D, then the guy has to be bringing good chat.
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Blah, 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 blah. Is that not entitlement?
No, I'm just saying that these 20% of men...
Yep.
are doing those things. Like, why would a woman want to baby someone?
No, but what I'm saying is, you said that's percentage of men you feel become entitled to demand certain things from their partner, and you literally just said if you were doing that,
I don't think they necessarily do. I don't think that men. I think in general there's like a bitterness from each side of what they're like. I'm not like anti the men, but I think there is, from both sides, women and men, this kind of resentment and this bitterness. So, well, what are you giving me? Well, what are you giving me? Well, maybe we just need to be enough for ourselves and then come together.
I agree with you. I'm just saying the example of you with your husband saying you do A, B, and C, and D, right? And you're like, well, he's got to bring this or this or this. If I'm doing all these things, that's exactly what those men say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is what I mean. Like, this is what I mean. There's an entitlement and a resentment from both sides.
Yeah.
And maybe there just needs to be self-growth and acceptance as an individual. And then
do you not think it's, so if a man has one of those guys, right? who's doing the most already, and he can happily invite a woman to his life and take care of her, do you think it's unreasonable for him to have expectations of her?
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.